Hello and welcome to the Industry Today podcast. My guest for today is a woman in manufacturing, a pioneer in the personal line sector, none other than Miss Roselyne Mukaneza. She'll be taking us through her journey as an entrepreneur in the manufacturing space, particularly in the personal care line. So, Miss Roselyne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so maybe a little bit of a background about yourself and the brand Alkhemy, right? So Alkhemy is one of the leading personal care lines in the country. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we are here to simply learn more of the force behind it. Learn your lessons, how your journey has been, and what's your future prospects for the business as a whole. So we'll start a bit and you can let us know who you are and what you represent for starters.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Roselyne Mukaneza, as you have said, and trying to pronounce my name. As by the name, you can tell maybe it's different. I was born and raised from Rwanda, and that's years back. And I stay there pretty much my childhood. By entrepreneur parents, or should I say hustlers? Yeah, so my parents were in business. My dad being an accountant, my mother used to own a restaurant. So I would say like my journey starts from that restaurant because as a child and from hustler family and business people, we used to, every free time was working time. So for us, as me and my siblings, we will go work from my mother's restaurant. Therefore, we were washing dishes, counting money. That was my favorite part, counting money. So we count money, balance stock. So my journey started from that restaurant of my mother and how she was consistent with her business and looking at the community and everyone around her. Yeah.
So I think it's right to say that ideally shaped your entrepreneurship journey.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, okay. So now moving away from your mom's business, what led you to building or to starting Alkhemy, and why specifically personal care? Okay. How did you get into manufacturing?
I was still in Rwanda. Fast forward, I came to college. I came to college. I was admitted at Daystar, doing a Bachelor of Business Administration, and that's back then as well. And like any other student, I was curious to learn. I was moving to a new country. I was meeting new people. Definitely mine was just to learn each and at every opportunity. Therefore, in terms of for me looking at the school, I wasn't just in school. I was every now and then weekend I'll be here in Nairobi. I'll buy things and I'll go sell them at the campus. That's me now in my first year, new country, and trying to sell things on campus. I don't know if many of us have done that during our college days. Yes, we did. So then fast on, I realized that wasn't for me. And I was a girl's number, and I changed my major to finance. So I did my finance, my MBA, Masters in Finance from USIU. Yeah. Thereafter, like any other graduate, I started looking for jobs, and I was hired one of the big five in audit firms. I started my journey as a junior consultant in audit firms. Therefore, my role was cut across from business reviews. We are looking at the audits, and I was there to learn everything. Therefore, like I will learn everything. That's audit, who is here, past hours, it's me, and anything they will ask, I'll volunteer. I will volunteer to do audits, and I've never done audit before. So my first years of careers, I would say those 2 years shaped also how I see business and how I run business at this particular time. So fast forward in Alkhemy. 10 years back, I met my partner who is the founder of Alkhemy Brands. not only he convinced me that we should take this journey of life together, he convinced me to join business. The young me looking at the business, I went and looked at as I've said, I've always been a numbers girl. So I went and looked at the numbers, looked at my salary. It did not make sense, definitely. So I asked him, and I moved here, what about paying me? The math was not mathing, and definitely being the person who looked at the financials, I was like, hey, you have to convince me that this will make sense at some point. He sat and he's been in the brand consultancy for some time. He had done a lot of consultancy that's with the different brands. So he understood that part. I understood the numbers. Yeah. He had no idea about the numbers. He knew the goal and the focus, and he had noticed the gap. There was a gap in the market back then. But now he didn't know what he didn't know. He was like, does it make sense in terms of business perspective? We're like, okay, fine, let's sit together and see. So we look at the numbers, we look at the potential, we went to the market, and we're like, okay, this looks like it can make something big, really. But at that particular point, I was leaving my job to a zero salary. Yeah, so I was definitely leaving my job to a zero salary. There was no salary, and it was clear. From the book, I could tell that it was just a starting business. So I moved to Alchemy as a starting business and trying to see what is this bigger dream? What is the bigger dream for us to curate African personal care, personal care brands? Because if you look at back then, there was a very big gap in terms of the brands which were focusing on African hair. There was either the likes of the brands which are coming from the West, which I don't want to mention, but there were very many that time. And mostly you find they are off. If you use them on our hair, they were very off. So therefore, when we looked at the shelves, different retailers, we noticed there was a big gap. Therefore, that was our starting point. We're like, is there a gap? Yes, there is a gap. Can we look for solutions? Yes, we can look for solutions. How and where and when exactly? That's what we were going to sit and figure it out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Buzie. So we know that building a consumer goods, manufacturing line in Kenya is not easy. How has the journey been from, when you transitioned into it till now?
I would say, yes, it's not easy, but I would say it's an interesting journey as well. Because if you look at the market is very big, and holistically, the market for Africa and for the region as well. And it needs persistent. It needs persistent. You can imagine you are entering the job, there's no salary. So you have to have a backup. You have to have a backup of income, source of income. Therefore, you can focus on building the brand, on also building the company. Definitely it's a journey of resilience, journey of patience, but I would say we haven't even scratched the surface. Like, we really haven't scratched the surface. Therefore, the potential is there. We can see the potential. But as is just how do we now exploit this potential, but in a way we stay focused on our African consumers, because those are our main focus, the consumers, African consumers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you look back, do you think there has been one thing that really defines, business growth, like a defining moment for you when you're like, okay, this theme now?
Okay. So as a starting business like any other, you would face issues with capital, you'll face issues with supply chain. Suppliers will come and look at your setup. They're like, this one, if I give them credit, they will run away with my money. They will want to take your DNA for giving you the credit. The banks are not the best as well, especially because you are looking asking for patient money. You can't tell someone, okay, I need this money, but believe me, if you trust me, 6 months I can make back this money. But don't come to me back before 6 months. They were like, you are crazy. So definitely that journey was not an easy one, especially because you have to raise capital, because getting patient money is not easy. So, and for manufacturing, you need patient money for everything to make sense. What is different is that if you have an idea and you can just give it time, it works. Yeah. But now that time and that patient capital is what normally brings a challenge in the industry. And if the most complicated factor of it as well, and when you sit and you realize, yes, I have the solutions, but now who exactly do I approach and who exactly is taking these solutions? Definitely you need to partner with suppliers, you need to partner with the retailers, and remember, they have never seen you before. You have to go and put your goods there. Most of them, they will not pay you. They will say, you come collect the money once we have sold. Therefore, you have capital. It's a must. You must have that capital. Now, when we are struggling with that capital, I think that's where it's shaky. But again, when you propose the solutions in the market, and after some years, and you go and you look at the retailers, if you look at Carrefour's, you look at the Naivas, you look at the Quick Mart, and you find one locally made brand standing with this different brand, it gives us hope that we are not wrong. We are on the right track. We might have late, but we are on the right track.
Yeah. Thank. So maybe as we now try and get to the gist of the story, would you say, or was there that one challenge that you perhaps faced and and you're like, okay, now I gave up? Has there been maybe that one challenge that almost pushed you to the edge, and how did you overcome it?
I would say around COVID, like any other business, we almost shut down. In fact, we were almost shutting down because there is scarcity of raw materials. You have to pay upfront for raw materials. You are a young brand which is starts to take up the markets, and definitely you want to keep up the supply. You don't want to cut the supply. But also, because of you've been in business for some time, you have the facilities you are facing, that you are servicing either from the financial parties, those are the banks, or other relevant parties. But now COVID comes, no one has prepared you, nothing. Everyone, they won't be paid upfront, but where you're taking the products, they cannot pay you upfront because remember, it is personal care. Yeah. You can shower, you can wash your hair, or you don't. You can still use the water. It's not a basic need for that time. So it was not classified as a basic need. Therefore, the only retailers were paying for the basic needs, cash upfront. They were not paying anything other than, they were like, it's okay, you can hold the supply, you can come back later. But do you want to hold the supply? Remember, you have people who depends on you, you have staff, and you have this big ambition. So COVID was a setback for us, but I would not say in a bad way. I would say in a good way. Sometimes blessings comes in disguise because we were taught that we can live small. We can dream big, but also we can tackle those dreams in small steps, right? Because COVID was where you feel like you are stuck, you are not sure if tomorrow the company will be there. But for that time, I remember sitting and looking at our financials and realizing a lot of things we didn't need them. So I'm like, this one, we don't need it. We don't need it. We can put it on hold. We can put it on hold. Therefore, now what we gave priorities even thereafter COVID changed completely because we realize, yes, we have this big dream, but can we take small steps? If we can take small steps and we can make sure we're on the right track, that's better than just jumping the big steps. Then you are stuck ahead. Yes, definitely COVID time was a challenging one, and you wake up and you just want to disappear. But you want to disappear, you cannot disappear. It will question your journey in business, it will question all the decisions you have made. And you have staff as one of the things I've not said, our focus in our motto is good for mankind. That means everything we do and aspect of our business is based on good for mankind. That's the products we are making, paraben-free, sulfate-free. So they are products which are supposed to give us solutions and dignity to African consumers. And when it goes to the staff as well, we are trying to offer the same thing, which is like dignity for our staff. Now, COVID was just, it was not giving us any of that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So we've gotten a small, not a small, we've gotten an understanding of, the journey. So do you mind just giving us like a brief, breakdown? We're talking about alchemy. Probably someone out there is not too sure what alchemy does. We've highlighted that it's personal care, but do you mind just telling us about, the products or the range that you offer and what markets you cater to, or what needs you cater to?
Okay. So, Alkhemy is a manufacturer for personal care, as you have said, and for the longest we have been in the industry offering personal care solutions, focusing on African consumers. There's a reason we say African consumers, because we are anchored on a motto say good for mankind. Good for mankind because we are offering solutions, we are offering dignity for African consumers. That's in all aspects of personal care. Be hair care, skin care. In some of our brands, we have Mikala, which has been in the market for the longest for hair care, and we have Honey and Butter for skin care. We also have Time for hygiene. Right. So Alkhemy, I would say it's an FMCG manufacturer because we have also other solutions in the pipeline, but focusing on African consumers.
So African consumer is your big guild?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And so we want to believe that when you talk about Africa, we're not now just talking about, your consumers in Kenya. We want to believe that your products are also available outside of Kenya, within the region and globally. And we'll get to that, when you talk about the export business. But how has your journey been? I know you have mentioned that you are retailed, at local supermarket, but can we find your products, just within the region or outside Kenya? And how has that journey been, getting your foot in the door when it comes to the export markets?
Okay. So fast forward from Corona, you realize, but I've said our strategy totally changed. It's changed completely, and for the good, where we were looking at what's this is our motto: we good for mankind. Solution we offer, it's for African consumers, but now we feel stuck. We are here in Kenya. Yes, we are represented different retailers, but now we need to take a step ahead and try also to go to different markets. Of course, we went to Rwanda, where I come from. We went to Rwanda and we started doing market research, and we introduced the products in that market. We partnered with distributors and at least now had our products represented in Rwanda. Thereafter, we went to Uganda. Also, we've been in Uganda for the past 3 years, doing the same and also trying to make sure we are carrying around each and every African consumer. Because if you realize these markets are similar but different, they are on a different level of understanding, of awareness. Therefore, also how we introduce our products in those markets, we feel it's different from where we have started here in Kenya. But the gaps are the same. So therefore, the solutions are scalable.
And the solutions are scalable. That's lovely. So now when you started moving into this other market, I know you've mentioned there's the difference in how you also approach and how you market your product. But were there like any other big differences when it comes to perhaps the market, the consumers, and even maybe yourself as a business? So is there like a difference in Kenya? You've mentioned Rwanda, you've mentioned Uganda. So is there a difference when it comes to the market, when it comes to the consumers?
The market, like the market in Kenya, when compared to those other markets, the market everywhere in FMCG, it's rough. It's rough. It's not an easy journey. But if you have a solution, I believe if you always have a solution and you are focused and you know whatever you are offering, the solutions you are offering, it's needed in the market. You just need to be patient, because the market and the solutions can across. Are almost similar across borders. But you just need to be patient, because if the journey in Kenya has taken us 10 years and we've been in this market for 3 years, so definitely we still have a long way to go. But is there potential? Yes, there's potential, but it needs patience. And we have seen, especially if you sit and you do projections. Sometimes you do projections. You can tell yourself, there's a business here. In these countries, there's a business. But in some other instances, we have figured also, sometimes you figure things along the way. You don't have to have everything always figured. You just have persistent. You know your solutions is scalable. You can scale it across board. Then you go and try. You'll find the beliefs and different communities have different beliefs, right? Therefore, you can integrate in those beliefs and you make sure your solutions are part and parcel of what they do and what they are doing in terms of their life on a daily basis. Yeah.
Oh, that's quite insightful. Integrating into the business or into the culture that you're now seeking to move into and providing a solution while at it. So I'll ask this question. Sometimes, given that it's in the personal, care space, there's that notion that products, made in Kenya don't carry the same weight as are made in the USA, made in Europe, tagline on that global shelf. I don't know if you have experienced that and how you've been able to circumnavigate that, preference, or people feeling, is made in Kenya really on the same level as made in Europe?
I would say we have experienced that. And in fact, for the longest, people did not know Mikala is a product of made in Kenya. Very few people knew about us being made in Kenya. And therefore that helped us scale in those retail market, because they believed we looked different. We looked different in a way we cannot be made in Kenya. So that also shows you what's the perspective of the consumers back then in terms of their feelings towards made in Kenya, is that it's a very substandard product, they're very bad quality, and the look and everything was bad. But I am glad we have moved from there. We have moved from there where right now, Kenyan consumers are supporting made in Kenya. They have come to understand I would rather buy from a company I can trace and I can go and say, you have given me this and this, and I don't like it. This is the reason. We can have that conversation rather than buying from a product I cannot be able to trace a miles away and still now be not able even to understand what is in this product. Is it giving me what I'm supposed? Can I ask these questions? So but we are no longer there. We used to be there 10 years back, but we are no longer there. People are now seeking to traceability in terms of, can I be able to tell what is in this product? Can I be able to question the accountability of this product, what the ingredients in this product? Therefore, it is a good thing for African markets where we can be able to question. Because for the longest, we were not able to question what is this raw material does and what is its effect, especially when it comes to FMCG industry. Yeah, so I believe we are on the right track where we can be able to trace most of our products. And some of us, especially if you go to shop, we are looking for made in Kenya products. Be in any field you go, our eyes are open, because we know for the longest we have been served the substandard products because we were not able to question this source of the raw materials, and some of the raw materials are not even allowed to be used in those markets, but they are being used for Africa. Why are they being used in Africa? Because remember, Africa is tagged as cheap market. So everyone who's looking for tips to enter African markets, they are given us tips. You must sell cheap products, right?
Yeah.
So I am glad we are moving through that narrative where we are not a dump site for a lot of products, where we are aware and we are questioning what is this and what is it made for and where is it from. Yeah.
So good. So accountability and traceability. And I think also our products being able to answer to our needs, because I know you mentioned the haircare products being paraben-free and sulfate-free, which is also something that's very important for, African hair. So I think that's a plus. So as we move on into the next session, we'll be looking at, the reality of manufacturing in Kenya as an SME, as an MSME, and just trying to see the challenges and how to navigate around that. So, Ms. Roselyne, I want us to quickly have a chat on, the space being in manufacturing as an MSME, SME in Kenya currently. And we know that there's an influx, I don't know if that's the right word to use, of imported, beauty products. So not just hair care, not just body care. So we can ideally say, hair care, body care, in everything that encompasses personal care. For you as Alkhemy brand, how do you gut yourself, or how do you hold yourself against this, and what would a level playing field look like?
As I said earlier, as long as you're offering a solutions, definitely the market is full of imports. Is full. There are a lot of upcoming small scale manufacturers, which is a good thing for us, because if we can be many, maybe we can have a voice. So we are not against that. In fact, we want us to be many as possible, so at least we can have a space on the table and discuss what is these policies which are affecting us, so we can look for solutions. But now when it comes to imports, I think also they are welcome to be part and parcel of the market space. But can we talk about the cabs? Because sometimes you look at the products and you wonder, how did this product get to this market? You wonder, is only the checking point happening for the local manufacturers, but it's not happening. The same checking, it's not happening for the imports. Because you mostly you find the goods which find themselves in this market. You wonder, like, who really checked these goods? They are not supposed to be there. Not only because we are in the market space, but also because we are consumers. We are concerned. We are concerned of things we are consuming. We are concerned what our children are consuming. Therefore, we feel like there needs to be a lot of seriousness when it comes to check in terms of quality control at the borders. Right?
Yeah.
Because if we can have that addressed, it's a fair market.
Yeah.
It's a fair market where everyone can bring, as long as they know what they're bringing, it's up to the standard, and someone has done the quality control, as we are okay. Definitely that is going to be an issue, but I believe as a country, there's a way you can look at how to support the local manufacturers in different ways. Because if you look at the small scale manufacturers who have either their small setups, even their homestead, there are many. But how are they being helped? I can't make the products for my family. As much as they are goods, I need to make them for a bigger market. So, and yes, we have people who are doing honey, we have people who are doing personal care, like us, and the market is crowded, but are they being given space where they're supposed to be? Right? Because I feel like once people are trained, they can be able to meet certain standards. They should be able to be helped in terms of the policies, which can make them have space, a part of, let me say, a part of market share, in terms of these are people who are employing people locally. They have given jobs to a certain number of young people. Therefore, as a government, if we can support them and give them a push because they have met this standard, it's just, let's put, a certain percentage should go to the local manufacturers. It will also give it's like a bonus where you can say, I am starting a business, I'm starting this setup. But I know if I meet this criteria, I can be able to have space, because 30%, 40%, 50%, 60% belongs to the local manufacturing goods. Yeah.
Okay. So sustainability, I want us to talk about sustainability, and it's a growing conversation, globally. As Alchemy, how are you approaching the sustainability conversation, whether in terms of, sourcing for raw materials, production in itself, packaging, and even the product? So how are you approaching the sustainability conversation as Alchemy?
So for us, sustainability starts, we have a lab. So Alchemy hosts a lab for research and development. Our sustainability journey starts from there. If we are looking for maybe it's a product in the pipeline or the products we have had in the market for the longest, we test all the raw materials. That means we ask for traceability, the COAs, those are certificates where this raw material, what is it made for? We test until the last point. Therefore, we can be sure and assure these are the claims we're saying for our products because we have been able to test the same and we can testify these are the test results and we have tested this. And so for the vetting for the suppliers starts from there. So the sourcing is thorough in terms of what we are sourcing. If it's let's say maybe essential oils, if it's other raw materials like shea butters and the rest of the raw materials used in the personal care, the sourcing is very thorough. So we have to vet the suppliers we are working with and also test these raw materials, right? So because we want to assure the client, the consumers, at least this, what we are saying, we have been able to test it. It's not someone else's claims, it's what we have been able to test in our lab. So we can be able to assure you these are what our products are offering as benefits, right? Then when it comes to sustainability and holistically as personal care industry, I think we still have a long way to go. We are part of PACRO, one of the ERPs, but at the end of the day, it's a process. We are trying to recycle our bottles, like now for that matter of sustainability. But if you ask me, we still have a long way to go and also be given, I would say, like a way we can say, what is the transition look like? What is the transition look like in terms of this is what we have as a country. We are looking to move from the plastic packaging, but these are the solutions we have in place, and we are trying to incubate these are the solutions locally. Because if there's one thing we can never go back to is where we have to import everything, right? I can chase the sustainability, but also what is other alternative. And that alternative needs to be made from here. So at least the supply chain can make sense. Because if also I'm looking for the packaging, which are not here, I am just assembler, I'm not a manufacturer, I should be able to at least make sure there is no bottleneck at the end of the tail, where like now I have the raw materials, I have everything locally made, I can't package these products. So I think the journey is still ongoing, but also as a country, we need to have a conversation. What's the alternative? What's those other incubations? We can prepare ourselves as a country to be sustainable. Because when we're talking about sustainability, I think our sustainability as African states should be looked at differently altogether. Because there's also affordability. The sustainability and affordability should go along
hand in hand. Okay, but what I'm getting is we still have the solutions, and the solutions have to still come from us within ourselves.
Yeah.
And it just needs to be a collaborative effort between, all the parties.
The stakeholders. Yeah.
I get you. So, Miss Roselyne, by the end of 2026, what does success look like for Alchemy?
Success for us in 2026, it's looking more trade doors, definitely more markets, especially in different African markets. That's what success look for us, and looking for our consumers to be more happier.
Be more happier. Yeah. Great. So for the young, aspiring manufacturer, entrepreneur who's watching right now, what is that one message that you'd like to leave them with?
I think my message will be, I was given an opportunity. I was young and pretty young, and I would say, once you see that opportunity, take it and grab it and run with it. they is never coming back. And if you can't say, I can't do, I'm too young to lead. I'm too young to do this. And I said when I was starting my career, I was afraid of everything. I would do audit, I would do business review. That's what we want from our Gen Z, Gen Alpha. Understand that life is a journey. There's no jumping from this point to this other. Those are stories you hear. But for the people who are on the ground, who are watching things, what is happening in the business space, start slowly. You'll get where you can see people have gotten, but you have to be consistent, disciplined and consistent.
So that has been our episode today on the Industry Today podcast. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe this video and stick around for the next episode.